Hello everyone. I am going to explain about occupational health. Safety and health in the workplace is a very important topic for us workers. In this video, I would like to explain basic knowledge about occupational health, specific measures, and the latest trends in an easy-to-understand manner. We hope to provide useful information to workers and help them create a safe and healthy workplace. Let's begin with the theme of this issue, knowledge about occupational health. First, let us discuss what health and safety is, its basic definition and importance. Health and safety refers to efforts to protect the health and safety of all people working in the workplace. In this section, we will also discuss specific activities that companies should undertake to ensure the health and safety of their workers. Next, I will discuss the framework and role of occupational health management. We will explain what the responsibilities and duties of occupational health managers are and how companies can establish an occupational health management system. This section will help you understand how occupational health functions throughout an organization. We will then look at the basics of working environment management. We will explain how to measure the working environment and assess risks, and we will also discuss specific examples of improvements to the working environment. This will give you an idea of how the work environment can actually be improved. To begin, let me discuss the purpose of occupational health. The purpose of occupational health is to protect and enhance the physical, mental, and general well-being of each and every worker. In other words, the most important goal of occupational health is to create a safe and healthy working environment for our employees. The first is to protect us from harmful substances and hazardous working conditions. For example, at sites where chemicals are handled, various measures are taken, such as wearing appropriate protective equipment and installing ventilation systems. Next, efforts are also focused on improving the work environment. Creating a comfortable and safe workplace, including noise, lighting, and temperature control, will lead to our productivity and satisfaction. Most importantly, it supports our mental and physical health. Stress management and mental health care initiatives show that the company is concerned about our well-being. Finally, preventive approaches to prevent accidents and illnesses are also gaining attention. Efforts are being made to reduce risks through health checkups and safety training. In other words, occupational health is an important company initiative to create a safe and healthy work environment for each of us. Next, we will consider what social welfare is. First, we will talk about protecting workers from danger and health hazards. One example is providing protective masks and safety helmets to workers in factories and other places, and teaching them how to use machines. These measures ensure our safety. Next, health management and prevention efforts, such as regular health checkups and stress management programs, are also important. Detecting health problems early and taking appropriate measures will protect our physical and mental health. And in the event of an accident or illness, workers' compensation insurance provides us with financial support. This system, which includes compensation for medical expenses and guaranteed income during absence from work, allows us to work with peace of mind. In addition, the labor standards law sets minimum standards for working hours, vacations, and wages. This protects us from excessive work and at the same time improves the working environment, for example by improving office lighting and ventilation. Finally, it is also important for companies, educational institutions, and governments to work together to raise awareness of occupational health and safety among all of us. By doing so, we ourselves can understand and practice the importance of safety and health. When these efforts are comprehensive, we can create an environment in which we can work with peace of mind. And this will ultimately lead to increased productivity and sustainable growth of the company. Next, I would like to talk about an important mechanism to protect safety and health in the workplace. That is the sanitation management system. The purpose of creating a sanitation management system chart is to clarify who is responsible for what role in the workplace and what their responsibilities are. This will help each of us understand our roles and ensure that we are working on them. First, there is the General Safety and Health Manager. This person is responsible for the overall safety and health management of the entire company. This person is responsible for overseeing the overall safety and health management of each department and formulating the company's overall safety and health policy. especially in large companies. Next, there is the health manager. This person is in charge of overall health management in the workplace. He or she inspects the working environment, checks the health of employees, and implements necessary measures. The industrial physician then conducts health checkups of employees, evaluates the results, and provides appropriate advice. They also analyze the impact of the work environment on health, suggest improvements, and provide mental health support. Finally, there is the Health and Safety Committee. Here, important matters such as accident prevention measures and improvements to the work environment are discussed, with input from workers. In this way, the health management system is characterized by clearly defined roles and responsibilities. By sharing problems throughout the workplace and taking appropriate measures, the safety and health of workers can be protected. Next, I will discuss how the three management aspects of occupational health, namely, work environment management, work management, and health management, are related. First, let's talk about work environment management. The purpose of this is to identify harmful factors in the workplace and keep it as good as possible. For example, this includes taking measures to reduce airborne toxins and noise. Next, we will discuss work management. Work management refers to establishing work methods that do not pollute the work environment as mentioned earlier. This ensures that workers are exposed to as few harmful factors as possible. For example, it involves determining safe work procedures and recommending the use of appropriate protective equipment. Next, we will discuss the relationship between work management and health management. Safe work procedures and the use of protective equipment established in work management will protect workers' health. On the other hand, in health management, it is important to regularly check workers' health conditions to detect and prevent health problems caused by harmful factors at an early stage. When these two work together, workers' health is comprehensively protected. Finally, there is the relationship between working environment management and health management. By carefully controlling hazardous factors through work environment management, we can reduce workers' health risks. Health management then assesses how the work environment is affecting health and proposes necessary improvements. This protects both a good working environment and workers' health. I will discuss one of the three controls, work environment management. This is to ensure that the physical environment of the workplace is well managed to create a healthy working environment for employees. First, let's discuss work environment management. Temperature and humidity in the workplace are critical to creating a comfortable work environment. Maintaining appropriate temperature and humidity so that it is neither too hot nor too cold will allow employees to concentrate on their work. Next is ventilation. It is important that there is an adequate supply of fresh air and that chemicals and dust are well removed. This ensures that the air in the workplace is always clean. Lighting is another important factor. Ensuring adequate brightness for the work reduces eye fatigue and the risk of accidents. It is important to keep proper lighting in mind so that it is neither too dark nor too bright. And then there is noise management. Ensure that noise is not excessive and, if necessary, soundproofing measures are taken to create a quiet environment in which employees can concentrate. The goal of working environment management is to make sure that all of this is managed properly. In other words, it is important to create a work environment in which employees can work in a healthy and safe manner. We will discuss work management in manufacturing operations that use hazardous substances. The 5 points I am about to introduce will help you keep your work environment safer. The first is to change the substances you handle. This is a way to find less hazardous substances and replace the ones you are currently using. For example, replacing solvent-based cleaning agents with water-soluble ones can reduce health risks to workers. Always try to choose substances that have the same function but are safer. The next step is to seal the equipment. This includes the use of sealed containers or tanks and the use of local exhaust ventilation systems such as glove boxes. In addition, using pressure differentials to create a negative pressure environment and introducing automation and remote operation can eliminate the need for workers to approach hazardous substances. This avoids direct contact. The next step is to install and improve the performance of ventilation equipment. Ventilation systems include total ventilation, local exhaust ventilation, and natural ventilation systems. Select the appropriate one according to the nature of the work and the size of the work area. Regular maintenance and filter performance improvement are important to improve ventilation efficiency. Changes in production processes are also important. By automating and mechanizing work, the risk of workers coming into direct contact with hazardous substances can be reduced. In addition, shortening work processes and eliminating waste reduces the workload and creates an efficient and safe work environment. Introducing technologies that do not use hazardous substances is also recommended. A simple improvement measure is to review the ergonomics of work processes. Redesigning the factory layout is costly and should be considered as a last resort. Finally, measure the working environment. This is a fundamental activity to protect worker health and safety. Using the measurement results to improve the workplace and manage risks, maintaining a safe working environment will also improve productivity over the long term. By following these points, you can keep your work environment safer. Let me talk about work management. Work management is the control of actual work to ensure that it is performed in a safe and health-conscious manner. Specifically, it involves checking that the content, methods, procedures, equipment, and tools used in the work are appropriate, and making improvements as necessary. We will now discuss each of the 6 important items in turn. I will discuss work time reduction, which is part of work management. Reducing work hours is very important to prevent worker fatigue and reduce the risk of health problems. Here are some specific ways to do this. The first is to improve work efficiency. By reducing unnecessary work processes and implementing efficient work procedures, the same results can be achieved in less time. Prioritize work and allocate time well according to importance and urgency. Second, shift work is a good idea. If long working hours are unavoidable, shift work should be introduced to shorten the number of consecutive work hours per person. In addition, by developing human resources capable of performing multiple tasks, long working hours due to uneven workloads can be prevented. The third is the appropriate allocation of breaks. Third is the appropriate placement of breaks, which help workers maintain their concentration and improve work efficiency. Fourth, promote mechanization and automation. Repetitive and heavy labor tasks can be replaced with machines and automated systems to significantly reduce work time. The fifth is to reduce overtime work. Fifth is to reduce overtime work. Setting a limit on overtime and limiting it to the minimum necessary is important to protect workers' health. Allowing workers to adjust their work hours to fit their own life rhythms improves their work-life balance. Furthermore, the use of telework is also effective, reducing commuting time and enabling flexible work styles, leading to a reduction in total working hours. Combining these measures will protect workers' health while also improving productivity. Reducing work hours not only reduces working hours, but also improves the quality of work and the quality of life of workers. Next, I will discuss the control of hazardous substance emissions through improved work methods. These measures are an important part of work management that protects workers' health while also improving work efficiency. The first is to seal up. Processes that handle hazardous substances should be conducted in sealed systems as much as possible to prevent leakage to the outside. The second is to switch to wet work. In operations where dust is generated, wet work with water or oil is used to control the dispersal of dust. Third, use local exhaust ventilation. Local exhaust ventilation is installed at the point where hazardous substances are generated to remove them by suction directly at the source. This can significantly reduce the concentration of hazardous substances in the work environment. When handling high-temperature, highly volatile substances, vapor generation should be controlled by lowering the working temperature as much as possible. This reduces the risk of inhalation of harmful vapors. Fifth is the use of alternative substances, which reduces the use of hazardous substances and improves the work environment by switching to safer alternatives whenever possible. Review how hazardous substances are handled and establish procedures to minimize the risk of spills and leaks. Seventh is automation and remote handling. Seventh is automation and remote handling. which reduces workers' direct exposure to hazardous materials by automating or switching to remote handling. 8. Improve proper storage and transport. Review storage and transport methods to prevent leakage and dispersal of hazardous substances. The 9th is to improve cleaning methods. 9th, improve cleaning methods, such as changing from dry cleaning to wet cleaning and using high-performance vacuum cleaners to prevent dust from being dispersed during the cleaning process. Minimizing the amount of time spent working with hazardous substances reduces workers' exposure time. The next step is to improve the layout of the workplace. Work areas where hazardous substances are handled should be isolated from other work areas and appropriately spaced to reduce the impact on other workers. Finally, regular inspection and maintenance of facilities and equipment. Regular inspections and maintenance are performed to prevent leakage of hazardous substances due to malfunctions. Together, these methods can significantly reduce the concentration of hazardous substances in the work environment and mitigate worker health risks. These measures also improve work efficiency, contributing to both occupational health and productivity. Next, I will discuss personal exposure measurement. This measurement plays a very important role in occupational health management by measuring the amount of hazardous substances to which individual workers are actually exposed during their work. The purpose of personal exposure measurement is to accurately determine the amount of hazardous substances that a worker actually inhales. It is used to evaluate the exposure status of each individual, which cannot be captured by working environment measurements, and to formulate countermeasures that take into account individual differences in health risk. The measurement method is described below. A sampler is attached to the worker's breathing zone, usually near the collar, and sampling is performed continuously during work hours. Samplers use collection materials such as activated carbon and filters to collect hazardous substances. The target of measurement is a variety of hazardous substances in the work environment, such as dust, organic solvents, and specified chemical substances. Measurements are usually taken throughout the entire working day, with individual exposure measurements covering the entire 8-hour working day. This reveals individual exposure situations that are difficult to see in working environment measurements. After the sampler is collected, a specialized analysis laboratory performs qualitative and quantitative analysis of the contained substances. The measurement results are compared with the allowable and controlled concentrations to evaluate health risks and, if necessary, consider measures to improve the work environment and work methods. One of the features of individual exposure measurement is that it can measure the amount of exposure according to the worker's movements and changes in work position, making it possible to detect localized high-concentration exposures. In addition, the data also reflects the worker's work habits and the use of protective equipment, so more realistic data can be obtained. As a point to keep in mind, it is very important to select workers to be measured. It is necessary to select workers who are representative. In addition, care should be taken if the work on the measurement day differs significantly from the norm, as this may affect the results. Furthermore, it is also important to ensure that the wearing of the measurement device does not interfere with the work. Finally, we will discuss the use of the analysis results. Measurement results are used to confirm the effectiveness of improvements in the work environment, to select and use protective equipment appropriately, to review work procedures, and to make decisions on health management and special medical examinations. By combining personal exposure measurement with working environment measurement, more precise occupational health management becomes possible, which can greatly contribute to the protection of workers' health and improvement of the working environment. Next, I will discuss the use of respiratory protection in hazardous jobs. Respiratory protection is one of the very important measures to protect workers' health. First, let's talk about the purpose of respiratory protective equipment. The purpose of protective equipment is to prevent inhalation of hazardous substances and to enable work in oxygen-deprived environments. Remember, however, that protective equipment is a complementary measure and that improvement of the work environment is fundamental. Next, we will discuss the different types of protective equipment. There are two types of filtering masks: dust masks and gas masks. Dust masks collect dust and fibrous particles, while gas masks absorb and detoxify harmful gases and vapors. Air-supplied respiratory protective equipment also includes air-supplied respirators and air respirators. Air-supplied respirators provide clean air from an external source, while air-supplied respirators provide air from compressed air cylinders. Selection criteria for protective equipment are also very important. Selection is based on the occupational health and safety law and other relevant regulations. Specifically, the type and concentration of hazardous substances, the work environment, the nature and duration of the work, and the physical condition of the wearer are taken into consideration in making the decision. Correct usage is also explained. First, a fit test is conducted and inspected prior to fitting to ensure that the correct fitting method is followed. Periodic maintenance and replacement is also required. This will ensure the maximum effectiveness of the protective equipment. Don't forget about management. Proper storage of protective equipment, maintenance of usage records, periodic performance checks, and control of expiration dates ensure that protective equipment is always in good condition. In addition, education and training are also important factors. Instruction on correct selection and use, familiarization with the limitations and precautions of protective equipment, and emergency response training are provided. This will ensure that workers can use protective equipment safely. Periodic reviews are also necessary. New technologies and products will be considered and re-evaluated as the work environment changes. It is also important to provide feedback from users and use it for future management. Finally, proper use of respiratory protective equipment is essential to protect workers' health in hazardous jobs. However, it is important not to rely too heavily on protective equipment, but to always aim for essential improvements in the work environment. Establishing an integrated system from the selection of protective equipment to its management and use, and continuously improving it, will lead to effective occupational health management. Next, I will discuss the importance of an operations manual and the process of creating one. An operations manual is one of the key elements of operations management and is essential for safe and efficient operations. First, let us discuss the purpose of an operations manual. The purpose of creating a manual is to standardize work procedures and methods and to ensure the safety and efficiency of work. It also allows for training new employees, improving the skills of workers, and sharing and utilizing the know-how of veteran employees. This produces a variety of benefits, including standardization of work, improvement of quality, prevention of industrial accidents, improvement of work efficiency, transmission of skills, human resource development, and even improvement of customer satisfaction. Next, here is the process of creating an operations manual. The first step is to understand the work. We gain a thorough understanding of the work at the site and confirm what procedures are necessary. Once we have a grasp of the work, we identify the risks and problems. We identify potential risks and problems that may occur during the work, and then develop ways to deal with them. Once the identification is complete, we consider the optimal work procedures. We consider safe and efficient work procedures and identify the necessary facilities and equipment. Once the procedures have been reviewed, we will consider how to describe them in an easy-to-understand manner, and create a manual. The key point is to provide clear explanations using diagrams and photographs so that workers can understand the procedures without confusion. After the manual is created, it is checked and approved by the supervisor and other relevant personnel. The completed work manual should be available for employees to refer to at any time. It should also be used for familiarization and training. Once created, the manual should be reviewed periodically. If equipment or raw materials are changed, do not forget to revise the manual as well. Work manuals are the foundation of safe and efficient work management. Creating and utilizing manuals that are tailored to the actual conditions of the workplace can make a significant contribution to improving productivity and ensuring the health and safety of workers. Next, I would like to talk about off-limits to hazardous areas and their signage. The purpose of the off-limits policy is to ensure worker safety and prevent accidents and disasters from occurring. First, it is important to identify the hazardous area. For example, in the manufacturing industry, There are many accidents involving people being caught or entangled in areas where machinery is in operation, and particular attention should be paid to areas with rotating machinery. Also, when working at heights, there is danger from falling objects. In areas where chemicals are handled, there is a risk of health hazards due to inhalation of hazardous gases, which can affect not only workers but also people just passing through. In addition, there is a risk of traffic accidents in areas where vehicles pass, and off-limit zones are established to identify other areas where there is a risk of falls and tipping over. There are several measures that can be used to establish off-limits. First, there are physical blockades such as fences or gates. This prevents unintentional entry. Alerting people with warning lights or audible alarms is also effective. It is also important to establish a management system that restricts entry to non-related personnel. A combination of these measures will enhance safety. It is also important to mention the contents of the displays. It is recommended that warning signs such as "Keep Off" and "Danger" be displayed not only in Japanese but also in English or other languages in consideration of foreign workers. It is important to make sure that anyone can understand the danger at a glance. Appropriate implementation of these measures will greatly contribute to the prevention of accidents and disasters. Clearly marked hazardous areas are basic measures for occupational safety and health, and proper management and operation will ensure workplace safety. Health management refers to the process of ascertaining the health status of employees and taking necessary measures. This includes conducting periodic health checkups, establishing a health-related consultation service, and providing mental health care. Periodic health checkups and special health checkups are conducted, and appropriate follow-up measures are taken based on the results. We also provide an environment where employees can consult with us regarding their health and provide the necessary support. We also provide support for employees who have been absent from work due to illness or injury, and assist them in returning to work smoothly. With the recent increase in mental health disasters, it is also important to focus on mental health management, such as conducting stress checks and counseling. I would like to begin by discussing the importance of health examinations for all workers. The purpose of medical checkups is to ascertain the health status of all workers and to detect and prevent illness in its early stages. The main types and contents are as follows. First of all, there are periodic health checkups. The purpose of these examinations is to ascertain the health status of workers who are regularly employed, and to detect and prevent illness in its early stages. Examination items include a medical interview, medical examination, blood test, and urinalysis. Next is the special health examination. The purpose of this examination is to prevent health problems for workers engaged in hazardous work. In addition to the regular medical checkups, additional items are added according to the hazardous work. Then, temporary health checkups. The purpose of this is to ensure appropriate work management in response to changes in health conditions, such as changes in working conditions or return to work after long-term medical treatment. Examination items are flexibly set as needed. Finally, the medical examination at the time of hiring is intended to confirm the health condition of newly hired employees and determine their suitability for employment. The items to be examined are the same as those for regular health examinations. Now, let us explain the implementation and utilization of health examinations. It is important to properly manage the results of medical examinations as personal information of workers and to seek opinions from industrial physicians and other specialists. It is also important to fully discuss with workers about measures to be taken at work due to health reasons, and to utilize the results of health checkups to improve the work environment. Health checkups play a very important role in the health management of all workers. It is important to utilize the results of health examinations accurately and link them to the maintenance and promotion of good health. Next, health counseling has several purposes. The first is to understand the health status of employees at an early stage, leading to the prevention and early detection of illness. The second is to understand how work and the work environment affect your physical and mental health. The second is to understand how the work and workplace environment affects your physical and mental health, and to respond promptly to any concerns or worries you may have about your health. Health counseling is provided mainly by industrial physicians, nurses, and other medical staff. If necessary, it is better to obtain the cooperation of counselors and medical specialists as well. Consultations can cover a variety of topics, such as discussing the results of health checkups, work-related illnesses and injuries, mental health issues, and prevention of lifestyle-related diseases. We recommend that you have several options for consultations, including interviews, telephone consultations, and email consultations, in addition to regular health consultation services. This will allow you to consult with us at any time if you wish. However, the content of the consultation will be kept strictly confidential and privacy will be given due consideration. Consultation records will be properly maintained and measures will be taken to address the issue. By utilizing the health consultation, you can make the most of the results of your health checkup, improve your work environment, and raise your health awareness. It will also help to improve mental health care. To protect the health of your employees, create an environment in which you can proactively utilize health consultation. Next is medical treatment management. This is an initiative in which the company provides firm support to workers who need medical treatment due to on-the-job injuries or illnesses. The first important step is for the company to provide solid support by helping with workers' compensation insurance procedures. We also work with the worker to see a doctor and develop a treatment plan, and we also consider when that worker will return to work. While managing treatment and rehabilitation, the company takes care of returning the worker to the workplace, monitoring his or her progress and providing any necessary support after he or she returns to work. In this way, medical treatment management involves the cooperation of various people, including industrial physicians, nurses, and the Human Resources Department, to manage the health of workers undergoing medical treatment and their return to work. Why are these efforts important? It is to help workers recover quickly and smoothly return to work. By doing so, we can ease their anxiety and reduce their financial burden. For companies, it also leads to the maintenance of productivity and proper labor management. In other words, medical treatment management is an initiative that benefits both workers and companies. Please remember that it is an important mechanism for companies to support their workers well. The next step in healthcare is mental health care. This is an initiative to protect and nurture the mental health of employees. Mental health care has several pillars. The first is preventive care. This is to understand your stress situation through stress checks. Have you learned how to manage stress and improve your work environment? Prevention is important to protect your mental health. Next is early detection and response. When a mental disorder is observed, it is important to respond promptly with counseling and other measures to lead to appropriate treatment, and early detection is of utmost importance. Then, in terms of support for returning to the workplace, we monitor the progress of those on leave and provide step-by-step support when they return to the workplace. We will also develop a workplace acceptance system. Furthermore, we will work to improve the workplace environment, such as improving long working hours and revitalizing communication. It is also important to improve the ability of supervisors to care for their subordinates. In order to promote these mental health care initiatives, it is also essential to create a system and educate employees, such as by appointing specialized personnel and educating managers and the Human Resources Department. What is most important is to create an environment in which the content of consultations is kept confidential and employees can consult with each other with peace of mind. It is also important to maintain information management and consultation functions, such as by establishing internal and external consultation offices. Mental health care is a very important initiative to protect everyone's mental health and increase the productivity of the company. I believe that it will become even more important in the future, so please let's deepen our understanding of it. That's all for today's class. Thank you very much for staying with us until the end. If you found this video useful, please give it a high rating and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you have any comments or questions in the comments, we will reflect them in the next video. See you soon.